Hello viewers, this is Vignesh from BeingAverageEngineer, ready with a completely new video on Android development. This particular video is kind of an experiment for me where I am trying to install and set up Android development requirements and tools in my Ubuntu based system. If you are a newbie developer and are taking in your baby steps into the world of Android development, this video might be a lot to sink in. But still, I would suggest everyone to watch till the end because you might understand a lot of behind the scene packages required for Android development. So without wasting any more of your time, let's get started. Unlike the regular setup procedure provided by the official Google documentation, I am going to do a loosely coupled installation and setup. This is the Wikipedia definition of loosely coupled setup, which simply means all of the individual required components works and functions on its own and does not depend on other components. I will explain more about this at the end of the video. To begin with, we need to understand what are the components required for Android development. These are the required components for you to develop Android apps both using native Android framework and also with Flutter. Under development kit, you can notice JDK, which is nothing but Java development kit, Android SDK, which has all the required tools to convert your Java code into an Android app. And if you're a Flutter developer, you will be required to have a Flutter SDK and .sdk, which usually comes as a single package. Under IDE, which is the development environment, I have mentioned Android Studio and VS Code. Both have its own pros and cons when it comes to Android development. You can use whatever IDE you want. You can even use Notepad++ if you are brave and brain enough. But in this video, I will be covering only the Android Studio part. Additionally, we will be required to have Flutter and .plugins, which is used to utilize the Flutter SDK to create new project, update pubspec.yaml file, and loads of other features of Flutter in a graphical interface. And also, most importantly, you will be requiring ADB to communicate between your PC and Android device. ADB has tons of features which requires one separate video to cover, but for now, let's dive into the installation part. To begin with, I will be starting with a JDK. To install JDK, simply run the following command in your terminal. Open your terminal and okay, let me adjust this so that you can see. Cool. This is the command which will install Java in your system. You can change the version to whatever you want. And input your password, press continue, and it will install the JDK. You can get JDK either as OpenJDK or a JDK from Oracle. I prefer OpenJDK because Oracle JDK requires you to have an Oracle account, and even Google developers suggest OpenJDK. And once you run this command, and once the installation is completed, check whether the Java variable is set to global by calling Java version. Cool. So now we are getting the response as the version of the Java and what kind of JDK is installed. In my case, it is OpenJDK. Okay, let me clear this terminal. Once the Java is done setting up, now we can install Flutter and .sdk. I like to keep all my SDK in a custom location so that I can modify, update, or even delete any SDK without cracking the whole IDE or project structure. To do that, I will first create one folder named SDK in the home directory. To do that, let's open files. And here I will be creating a new folder named SDK. And inside the SDK, I'm opening the terminal within this folder. And I will be running this particular command. If you notice, I am simply cloning a repository of Flutter and I'm pointing to a particular what they call a branch. Okay, so there are multiple branches in Flutter and I prefer stable branch over anything. And if you simply don't want any of these confusions, you can simply say git clone and stop it right here with the URL of the repository. Okay, so once the cloning is done, when you open a new instance of your terminal and type flutter, it will throw an error that the flutter is not found. This is because Flutter SDK is not yet added to the global path of the system environment. To do that, open Files and get over to the home. You need to find .bash or C file. If you couldn't see this, it is probably because it is hidden. All you have to do is press Ctrl H to reveal all the hidden files, and you can see the bash or C file. Simply open the file. It will contain a lot of codes. You don't have to worry about all these things. What you have to do is, at the end of all these lines, add this particular path. I will explain what we are doing. Just give me a minute. So what exactly are we doing now? We are trying to add Flutter to be available in a global environment. So to do that, we need the relative path of the Flutter SDK, and we can save it here so that wherever, in whichever place you are calling Flutter in your command line, it is accessible. Okay, so I'm getting back to the installed folder. Okay, let me find, here it is, the SDK Flutter. I'm getting inside the bin. This is the SDK which we are required to access. I'm simply selecting the properties, copying all the relative path, and getting back to the bash or C editor, and in here I'll simply paste the path which I have copied, pointing to the bin inside which the Flutter is present. You don't have to add /flutter for this. You still have to point, you only need to have to point the folder. Press save, saving the file, and quit this file. So now, quitting all the windows here. When I create a new instance in terminal, and if I type Flutter, hopefully it works, and it does. So what it is doing now, it is downloading the Dart SDK, which is required for the Flutter engine. So at a single command, we have completed 2 SDK installations. One is Flutter and another is Dart. Once the download is done, you can check whether the Dart have been installed properly. Cool. You can access Dart from anywhere in the terminal. Now that being done, all we have to do is install the most important part of the final kit, which is Android SDK. I have already downloaded. Here it is. Likewise, I will add the link to this particular package in my written tutorial, and I'll also add this in the description below so that you can also download it. So what we have to do now is, I will simply extract this package to my SDK folder. Okay, I couldn't find it. Yeah, here it is. I'm extracting the Android SDK zip file into the SDK folder which I have created in my home, and hope it have been completed. Let's get back to the home and SDK where it is. Cool. But if you run SDK Manager, it would still not be found, because like we did in the Flutter, it is still not added into the global environment path. To do that, simply copy the parent folder, which is simply the relative path of the SDK Manager, and get back to home. Let's edit the bash rc. Likewise, do export path equals $path and paste the path. Cool. Let's check whether this thing works. I'm saving the file and I'm creating a new instance of terminal, and if I say SDK manager, it is stating that the SDK root is not found. This is one of the error which I want to explain you guys. There is some point of confusion where this is where the Linux system confuses with the SDK root. What it is stating is either specify it explicitly with the SDK root and its expected location is cmd line tools / latest, but in our SDK package there is no folder called latest. Let me okay, I feel I have to find this SDK very often. Okay, cool. Android SDK cmd tools, if you look at here, there is no folder called latest. So the solution is create a folder called latest and copy all the move all the other folders into the latest, and we have to change it here, latest /bin, and saving it, creating a new instance in the terminal. Let's hope it works. SDK manager, it's working. It still need to have a computing things. Once the SDK manager is installed, we will be required to install a few packages under the Android SDK, which can be done by running the following command, SDK manager. And for now I'm going to install two particular packages. One is the platform tools and the other one is I'm going to try Android 28. I'm not sure, this is just a random SDK which I will be requiring, Android 20k. Let's check. Wow, I'll still have to accept. Once the download is done, we can move further. We have covered all the development kit installation now, but before installing Android Studio, we can get used of one essential tool, which is ADB. When you run ADB command in terminal, it will state that command ADB is not found. But do we have to download ADB separately? No, it is already downloaded, installed inside the Android SDK. I will show you where it is in the SDK folder, Android SDK. Yeah, in the platform tools you can see the ADB command. So all you have to do is copy the path like I did almost like a million times now. Get over to the bash and do the same thing. Oh shit, sorry. Path, platform tools. Let's try it once again. I'll close all the terminals. There have been a lot of terminals now. Cool. Create one and say ADB. Now it is running fine. These are all the ADB commands. There are tons and tons of features with what you can do with ADB. If you wish, I can cover this in a separate video. Do mention those things in the comment, guys, if you want a separate video on what else we can do with ADB. For now, it's time to bring the captain, which is our Android Studio. I have already downloaded the Android Studio package, which is here, and we can start installing it again. Okay, so again, I just forgot to tell you, find the link in the written tutorial. First I will extract the zip file here. No worries, we can simply move it to whatever place we want, but first we have to extract it into a folder. Okay, once the extraction is completed, what I will obviously do is I have this favorite place in my root, which is the where is it, opt here. This is the place where I like to save my applications. This is the place which is accessible by multiple users. This is whole Linux thing. but if you're a Windows user, it doesn't matter where you install it. But for me as a Linux user, I would like to keep my Android Studio package in OPT, but it is not possible to paste anything here or create a new folder. This is because it needs root permission. Okay, so what we can do, we can head over to the downloads where we have extracted the Android Studio. Okay, and I will be opening a terminal here. First, I will create one folder inside the OPT directory. So to do that, I will give sudo make directory /opt / let's call it Android Studio. Oh shit. Okay, it will ask me for my password. It must have created that. Now we have to move this particular extracted folder to the created folder in OPT. So to do that, first let me check whether I'm in the proper place. Cool. Now all I have to do is mention sudo move and say the folder name Android Studio. Yeah, so this is the name of the folder. Sorry, let me expand this. Cool, hope you guys can see the thing clearly. And I have to mention the destination folder, which is opt / Android Studio. Okay, / let's check whether it have moved properly. So the extracted folder is not here, must have moved somewhere. Let's check opt Android Studio. Yeah, here it is. Awesome. So let's start installing the Android Studio. I need to get into bin. Yeah, now we have to run this particular studio.sh. How are we going to do it? Open terminal and simply run this command /studio.sh. This will open the Android Studio installer. Okay, I know. Here it is saying that there is no Android SDK, but we know where it is. We just have to go to, where are we? SDK, Android SDK. So if you notice, it states that an existing Android SDK was detected. The setup wizard will only download missing or outdated SDK components, which is exactly what we wanted. So whenever I change anything inside the SDKs, or whenever I download a new package or a new tool inside SDK, everything will go inside my desired location, which is named as SDK. This whole thing is to make sure that I have a single folder where I can access easily, this is the place where all the SDK is stored. So I don't want to bore you enough. So then what we need, everything is selected. Let's click next. Cool. For some of you guys, there is a chance, if you have installed the JDK package separately, I mean as a standalone, instead of using the command of sudo apt install, you might be given an error at the beginning that there is no Java development kit that is not present. Like I did, like how I located the Android SDK, you can follow the same steps and locate the place where you have installed your JDK, and boom, it will work just fine. If you notice why there is no Windows there, I simply have restarted my system just to give the enough RAM to start my Android Studio. You can notice I have created a desktop entry which I forgot to add in the previous video. I will explain how to do that. If you haven't added the desktop entry, it won't be available and it will not be shown in the application list. To add the desktop entry, click on this configure, and you can select create desktop entry. Since I have already done that, I'm not gonna do that again. So let's check whether I have created everything properly and I'm able to do a new project. I'm going to select an empty project, click next. I'm just going to leave it as such, no worries. Okay, let it build. So you can see the Gradle sync and everything is done now. If you have been installing the Android Studio right from the scratch, you will be given an option to install the AVD Manager, which is the emulator, right at the part where you have been installing the SDK. But since I cleared all my Android Studio packages just for the sake of this tutorial, I have to install my AVD manually, which can be done by clicking on the AVD Manager here and select download. Yeah, I know it's missing. Let it download. This might not be the requirement for you. You might have already installed it and you might have already selected it in the previous section, but for me, let it download. Okay, my Gradle sync is done now, and let's check whether it is working fine. First, let me trigger my AVD, which is the emulator. But if it is showing you the green play button, simply click on that. It will start the AVD. Cool. My device is up and running. I will install this app on this device. Okay, let it do the installation. The setup is done. We can see our very favorite word, hello world. Okay, the installation of Android Studio along with all the required native Android packages is done. But what if you are a Flutter developer and you are watching this video only for the Flutter setup? I have already installed Flutter, but I can let you know how to do it. Get over to File and Settings, select Plugins and search for Flutter. For me, it is already installed. When you click on the install button on the Flutter, it will ask you whether to install dot. Click yes, and you will be having both the Flutter and dot. And let me create a new Flutter project to check whether the Flutter SDK is working fine. Click on next. Here you can see that the path is not set. This is where you can modify, or you have to point to the custom location which we have created. Click on okay, here SDK Flutter, click OK, and boom, it's gone now. And click on next, finish. Let's check whether the Flutter app is working fine. I will come back to you once the setup is done. Okay, we have successfully created the Flutter application, but we are facing this error that it is stating that no device is there, and even if I connected physical device, if I do the Flutter run, it is saying the no connected device found error. To resolve this, what we can do? The reason for this issue is we have already installed the Android SDK, but the Flutter is still not recognizing the installed SDK. So we have to configure the Flutter that, hey Flutter, the Android SDK is installed in this particular location. To do that, open the terminal. Okay, run flutter config what are we going to configure? It is the Android SDK. And where is it? It is in this particular location in my case. So if I do that, it is stating that you may need to restart any open editors. Okay, I will do that as you command. Like invalid cache and restart. Let's see what is happening. So guys, now it is done and installed. So it have been a quite a long video right now, but you might be wondering why I am doing such a long process of installing the Android Studio, even though the official documentation suggesting the tightly coupled installation process. I'll tell you why. The reason why I am doing the loosely coupled thing is because none of the components are dependent on each other. Let me brief you. So if you're not installing Android SDK as an individual package, it will either way come along with the official installation of Android Studio. You can install it directly inside the Android Studio, but the SDK package installation is done on a separate folder. Imagine a guy who is just getting into Flutter development. He got already used to VS Code. He have never used Android Studio before. He can work straight away into the VS Code without even installing Android Studio. That is the beauty of loosely coupled thing. All he need to do is install Android SDK package, set it up in the global path variable, and that's it. He can use this VS Code and never even worry about having Android Studio as another software just to install Android SDK. So this is the whole case. So guys, if you like this video, do hit the like button and comment if you have any doubts, or if you think this is a really a waste of time, or if you don't like this video, feel free to hit the unlike button. This is okay. And if you have any doubts, you can come up with the comment section, and you can also reach me there in my Instagram profile. For all of these, I will be linking down in the description below. Thank you for watching. This is Vignesh from Being Average Engineer signing off. Thank you.